Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to one way of separating your line work in Photoshop. That is, and I'll demonstrate it. Bring in a drawing and just selecting only the line work, and then you could use that as a basis for painting or doing lots of different stuff with it in Photoshop. So it's kind of weird, there's a lot of steps, so that's why I made this this numbered image of steps here, so you can refer back to it and read it. If you're my student, I'll provide this PDF for you. So I'll just step through this. If you get confused, rewind the video or come back to the beginning here and read these steps to refresh your memory. Okie dokie, so here is my scanned image. Hang on a minute. This is my scanned image of a pencil drawing, and the better quality. This is a scan, right, from my scanner. So the better quality your photo, the better this process will go. You can do this with a use your smartphone to take a picture of the drawing. I would suggest if you do that, take it in indirect sunlight, so have some nice even lighting on your image. But anyway, so you'll have your image, bring it into Photoshop, and I'm going to make a copy of this just so I always have it. I'll call this scan. That's in case I mess things up, and I'll lock it and I'll turn off the eyeball there. Okay, the first thing I like to do is our first step is to increase the contrast of this image. And what I like to do it the cheap way. I go up to Image. What am I doing here? Whoops, I'm on the wrong layer. I didn't have the correct layer enabled, that's why it wasn't working. I go up to Image, then Auto Color, and it'll do something to the image. It'll adjust it on its own. And then I have to increase the contrast even more. So I'll come over here, add an adjustment layer, levels, and the slider. I'm going to do this by sight. What you do is the slider on the far right, you're going to grab it, click, hold, and drag, and pull it to the left. And I'll back up on this video I'm recording so I can show you. So that's my image that I have so far. Now I'm going to pull the slider to the left. Now if I go too far, see, I destroy the image. Now what I want to do, so here I am back at the starting point. I just want to drag this just so I get some high contrast, but I'm not destroying my nice line work. That's too much, all right? And that's not enough. The background is too dark, so it's just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You got to find it just right. Okay, so that looks cool. Okay, so now this is a weird step that if you don't use Photoshop, this might not make any sense. But okay, so over here I got levels, and I got my my background copy, the copy of my scan. What I got to do is merge these two so that I can do this next part of the process. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I got my image copy, levels, and then I'm going to do Command E or Control E on the PC. You can also go on this little 3 horizontal bars, and somewhere it'll say merge layers. Okay, I just like to use Command E on my Mac. Okay, so here's my image, and just for the let me change the name of it. I'm just going to call it image. I could call it high contrast image or something. And I'm just doing this for this demonstration to be complete, I guess. Okie doke. So I got this nice high contrast image. Okay, now do Command A or Control A to get the marching ants around the whole image. So I'd select the entire image. Command C or Control C, as in cat, to copy it. Now you come over here to your layers palette, click on channels, and we're going to make a new channel. So this is our channels palette, right? So click on the new, same as the new layer icon. So we're going to create a new channel, and it's an alpha channel, which is, I'm not going to get into right now for this. Now Command V, Victor, or Control V to paste. Okay, so there is our image. Okay, so what? Now this is our channel, and what we want to do is load this channel as a selection. And the way you do that, and again, this is a weird thing, but it works. It's a weird command. You have to hover over the new channel, hold down the Command key on the Mac, or hold down the Control key on the PC, and click on the new channel. Ta-da! So what this did, all that did was it made the channel a selection. And what the channel is selecting all the white stuff. Or that selection is all the white stuff now. Okay? So the mysterious command click, control click, all it did was take the channel, load it as a selection. What is loaded as a selection currently is all the white and none of the line work. So what we got to do is invert the selection, and you can do that on the keyboard with Command Shift I or Control Shift I on the PC, or you can go up to Select, Inverse. Okay, so now currently all the dark areas of this is selected. Okay, so without clicking anything or doing anything, go to Layers and make a new layer. Okay, and just to make this more dramatic, I'm going to turn off the image underneath it, so that all that's there is the selection. Now what I could do is I could, I'll just use black. I could get my brush tool. I'm on a new layer. I got marching ants. I got my brush. I could paint over it, and the image will become apparent there. Okay. In fact, just let me do this. Okay, so I painted over the entire selection there, and then I'll do a Command D to deselect, and let me put a white layer underneath this, just so you can see it better. Okay, so well, so what did we do all that stuff for? Well, now, okay, I have all this black line work on its own layer. So for one thing, I could make a new layer, and I could paint. Let me pick a nicer color. Let's give her a purple jacket, I guess. I'm just going to use this. Oh, geez, let me get an airbrush. Why not? Okay, so now I could paint underneath this line work for one thing. Okay, that's one thing I could do. I could go on the line work layer and use my eraser tool, and I could clean up stuff that I want to remove. There's a lot of graphite on her face there that I could get rid of, that kind of stuff. I could do that. This is my line work layer right here. I could copy my line work layer and it'll make it way darker. That's not what I wanted. And then I could turn down the opacity, and so I could adjust the darkness. And it didn't, to be honest, that didn't work the way I wanted it to for this one, because it's pretty dark already. But mostly I can, now paint underneath my line work. Okay, so the line work is preserved, even though I'm coloring underneath it. Okay, so let's see here. What did I want to say here? Okay, suppose disaster strikes and I lose my selection or I lose my image or something. You can always go back to the channels tab, hover over alpha again, and command or control click, and there's your handy dandy selection came back up. And just like before, maybe this, I hope this isn't too confusing. I make a new layer, and I got my purple color. See, like right now, just like before, like all the white stuff is selected. See? Okay. So, whoops, I hit the wrong key. Okay. Let me, what I meant to do was, there, that. Okay. So I have to invert the selection, right? That's one thing. So I'll go select invert. So now all the black line work is selected now. Now there's a keyboard shortcut for filling the line work. If you on the Mac, if it's Option Delete, you will fill the selection with the foreground color. On the PC, it's Alt Delete. So let me hit. I got purple in the foreground. If I hold down Option Delete, then I get this groovy purple, right? There she is. If I wanted to fill it with the background color, if I do, I always forget this one. Is it Command Delete? Yes, I believe it's Command Delete. I think we'll see, because I never really ever. Yeah, it worked. Okay, yeah, Command Delete will fill with the background color. So that's kind of cool, right? Anyway, so that is how you. Let me go back to this. That is how one way to separate your line work, so you can work with it in Photoshop. And again, some of those, especially if you're not used to Photoshop, some of that stuff might be kind of confusing and weird. And like, why am I inverting and why am I command clicking, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. Watch the video, read this. And if you're my student, again, this PDF will be available to you. Anyway, let me go back here. I do recommend you do this because, you can now work with you can now start to manipulate this stuff in Photoshop, just the line work all by itself, and that's a very cool thing. I can clean stuff up. I can get my, I'm using a mouse right now, but if I could get my Wacom tablet and I could start to define stuff or whatever, what I wanted to do, darken things, I could do whatever I want now that's in Photoshop. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too confusing. The end.